militarized economy, an economy that's very much based on the military, very much based on war, and then beyond that, a few trinkets that we sell to each other. We need to move into an economy where people are making things that we all need, that will benefit future generations, will benefit the earth. I just fairly recently came back from Nicaragua, where I was there with a group of philanthropic investors, people who've made a lot of money in the United States, and now wanted to help campesinos in Nicaragua develop organic farms. But as we traveled around Nicaragua, we discovered that most of the agricultural land there has been destroyed by chiquita and dole and craft and cargo, our big agribusinesses. You can't grow organically on it. And the lakes in Nicaragua, 2 huge lakes you can't see across, terribly, terribly polluted, primarily by our industries. And it struck me, what if you and I insist that a percentage of our military budget go to pay the same companies that are currently making missiles and tanks, the General Dynamics and General Electrics and General Motors and all the other generals out there? What if we demanded that our tax dollars pay those companies that have some very brilliant scientists in it to instead come up with technologies to clean up the polluted lands of Nicaragua and all the rest of the world, and the polluted lakes of Nicaragua and all the rest of the world? What if we demanded that our tax dollars go to pay the cargos and the chiquitas and the crafts to instead come up with ways for starving farmers in Africa to grow food more efficiently, store it, and distribute it more efficiently? And what if we demanded that a large percentage of that budget go to support these people out here, you, in the green marketplace, the young entrepreneurs, the up-and-coming entrepreneurs that want to create a green world, a socially and environmentally responsible world? Isn't that the way to have homeland security? Create a new economy. I think it's time we moved into this new economy. An economy that's defined by the idea that, yes, profits can be okay, but only if they're being made while creating a world that my grandson is going to want to live in, and every other child on this planet is going to want to live in. And we need to, another point in hoodwink to it, and these are just basic areas that are covered in more detail, is encouraging good stewardship. My God, when I went to business school in the 60s, I was taught that if I became a CEO, my responsibility was not just to my stockholders, it was also to the consumer, and it was also to my employees, and it was also to my suppliers, to take care of all these people, and to the communities where I did business. That's what I was raised with, that idea. That was before Milton Friedman came along. That was before predatory capitalism really took hold. In the first 100 years of this country, no corporation could get a charter unless it proved it was serving the public interest. That changed in the 1880s when the Supreme Court decided that corporations have the rights of individuals but not the responsibilities. We need to return to some idea like that. Why can't corporations serve us? We need to insist upon it. We have that power. And while we're encouraging good stewardship, we must encourage the deep feminine. We must bring more women along, not just the women as the leaders, but the women within the men too. We've got to go into this idea of receptivity, of responsibility, of the nurturing side of our economy. Because if we just change things and we continue with the old patriarchal, pyramidal, hierarchical structure that we've been experiencing, the male structure, we're just going to come right back around to this again. We must bring in that nurturing, receptive idea, which was reflected incidentally in those 2 Schwar men who bent down and examined the plant. That was their deep feminine coming up. The Schwab warrior is a very fierce warrior, a headhunter who's not afraid to bring out his feminine. And his wife, very feminine woman is not afraid to bring out her masculine if an anaconda attacks her compound. I also think that I'm running out of time here, so I can't go on with a lot of these other points, but good stewardship, consumer responsibility, changing consciousness. We must change our consciousness and look at the world as a place that we need to honor and respect, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. And I think above all here, looking at implementing rules, we all talk about what are we going to do to bring back the rules that protected us from the stock market crash, from the current abuses of the financial system and the other corporate system. We do need to bring back some of those regulations. And I think we need to introduce new forms of regulation that require that those people who run our government and run our businesses do so in an environmentally and socially responsible way. We need a set of laws that say that no company will be chartered, no company will be allowed to exist and continue practicing unless it is working toward creating a sustainable, just, and peaceful world. To begin with, you and I need to support these companies. They're represented out here in the marketplace. The entrepreneurs that are out there are striving so hard to make this happen. And I would just actually like to recognize a couple of those right now. I mentioned earlier Pachamama Alliance. Do people with Pachamama Alliance stand up for a moment, please, so people can see you? Great organization. They have something called the Awakening the Dreamer program, and it runs frequently here in Seattle, Bainbridge, and surrounding areas. Go to awakeningthedreamer.org or pachamama.org and go to one of these. They're about 4 hours long, amazing, incredible things. And here in your own backyard, you have this incredible magazine that looks for the positive things in life. Yes Magazine. Fran Corbin and Jory, are you here? Is anybody else? Yes Magazine. This is it. We support these people out here. And you have this incredible graduate school that, the first in the nation, I believe, to offer an MBA degree based on sustainability. And who do we have? Allie, you're here, and who else? Yes, and Faye, BGI people over in Bainbridge.